Hello friends. In my last video I showed you how do we create user. Associated to that user we create a database and we even create a table and we added a few records. So before I get into the process, I would like to show you that those records are like this. So we have added 6 records over here, and you can see that the first 4 records we added simultaneously. That's the reason they have got a similar timestamp, whereas the last 2 we added individually, so we are having a different timestamp. And this was the role column, which has a constraint that we can choose either buyer, seller or admin, right? Now based on a single table we are going to see a good number of SQL commands. The first command was select star from user, where we saw all the columns, or you can say all the attribute with the 6 instances. Now if you want to see them on a basis of a particular column, that column you have to mention, in that case like select user and email, so we will be segregating only those 2 attributes. Okay, in the first one or the second one there was no where clause involved, so there was no condition as such. So we now go with a condition that I want to see that the particular column where want to see the column user. The user is the table name, sorry, the column name is called role, but I want to see only those tuples that has got the instance as buyer. Okay, so in that case we just have got 2 instances, one is ID number 1 and ID number 3. So these are the 2 buyers, which we have got right over here. Okay, now we can also go for multiple condition, and for that reason what we are going to do over here is that we are making use of the logical operator AND. So I want to see exactly the user whose role is buyer, and it has to have the username as John. So in that case it's very obvious the Priya will not come in that case, because although Priya was also a buyer, but the username varies. So that's how AND operator is going to work. We can also go with the OR operator, that means either of this we can go for it. So I want to see those users who is either a buyer or a admin. So in that case it has gone for, see, these 2 are the buyers, so that's the reason that is also available, and this is also available because we have an admin user as well. So for a given condition we don't have to compare both, but in this case it will be either or one will work. So either it's a buyer or an admin can work, but the rest of the sailor will not come in the picture. Got it? And now we are going to discard a particular section of user, and by saying that not, I don't want to see the user, I don't want to see the user who falls under the buyer. Okay, so excluding buyer, what are there? So we have got sailor, we have got admin, so that's what I want to see. So we are not going to see buyers. Okay, let me clear the screen, / CLEAR. I hit the enter and the screen is clear. Okay, now we want to see with the in operator. This is really interesting, in. Okay, so what does the in operator says? In operator says that the same thing we want to see either, means you can say this is like a not operator in that case, this is another alternative not operator. You are saying that I want to see that user who is a buyer, at the same time I want to see that user who is also a sailor, who can be also a sailor. So either of this. Okay, that's how the in is working. So just now what we did was in, and previously what we did was not buyer. So if you see over here who are not buyer, so you are excluding buyer and rest are the sailor and admin is coming in picture, right? So that means you are doing a combination like this way. I don't want to see suppose I want to see the admin in that case. So if I write over here I want to see the admin, so in that case you are land up with buyers and sellers only. So if I remove this and if I say I don't want to see the admin, now you see, do you find any difference between this 5 record with that of this 5 record? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, exactly, they are same, right? So either you can go with not, or you can go with in keyword, and you would be getting exact same output. Very interesting, isn't it? Now we are going for a wildcard like. Okay, I'm saying that show me that user who username starts with the letter J followed by any number of characters. So question mark is not there. Question mark would have been specifying individual characters, but over here we have gone for percentage. So it would start with the letter J followed by any number of characters it would go for. So here I'm going for the username the first letter is J, and rest of the other character can be anything as such, nothing specific. So we came up with John. So that's how the like is going to work, okay, where username is like John, okay, that's how we are specifying. Great. Now we are getting into the aggregate function to count how many records do we have in the user table. We have got 6 records. That's what the aggregate function is saying. Now I want to count not as an overall but on a specific condition. So select count star from user where role is buyer. So over here we are applying a condition that I want to count that many number of records who are actually having a role of buyer, and we have got exactly 2 rows. So if we go with select star from user, and let's select C, that exactly we have got 2 buyers. Yes, this is one buyer, this is another buyer, and that was the reason why it came up with when initially it was 6 when we saw all the record, and then we came up with the where condition, we saw it's exactly 2, right? That is really, really great. Okay, now we are going for distinct. Distinct means we are not going to see the repetitive value. So let me copy this because we already have got the entire tuple present over here. So now if I go with distinct, see you have got how many roles? You have got 3 roles. So select distinct role. So total how many roles were there? That was 3 numbers. That's the reason we went for 3. We are not repeating well. Over here we have 2 buyers. Over here we have got 3 sellers. We have got 1 admin. No, we are not counting that. That will require something else. We'll come even to that as well. But overall, how many number of roles are there? We are saying, and we have got 3 roles over here. So that's the reason it's 3. Okay. Let me clear the screen again, and I hit the enter now. And now let's come by the order by ascending and descending. So select star from user, order by ascending order on basis of user name. I hit the enter, and you see that on basis of username they have come up with username. So username order select star from user. So you have gone for star, so they have just collectively came up with. But rather saying star, what if I just come up with this way? Select username from user, order by username. Now it is perfectly correct. See, it is coming in order by username in ascending order, but over here we are not sending anything ascending order. See, if you look over here, are they in ascending order? Select username by username. No, it's not ascending order. From smallest to the largest would have been, but over here Jimmy is coming. Okay, yeah, I got the reason why it is. I got it. The reason why it is showing so. See over here, this John is after A, but this Jimmy is above A. Why? It's going for the like ASCII value. So J would have a lesser ASCII value compared to A because A starts up with the ASCII value of 97. So in alphabetical order, J, K, I, J, A would come like A would come in J would have, since it's it start with the uppercase, so uppercase A 65, so in that way it would go to J, and that would be before A. So that's the reason admin came later on, and then John, then Priya, then Rahul. Okay, A B C D F G H I J K L M N O P. See, P are coming later on, after that R. So just because it came in the alphabetical order in the form of ascending order, it became first. So that's the reason Jimmy came first. Okay, but if in the actual, if I go for select star from users, if I say this and that, oh sorry, my mistake spelling. So let me put over here as E. Yeah, see over here it was not so. It was in the ID, in context to ID is coming. But as we went for select username or even select star from username order by, so Jimmy came first because of this ASCII value, which is having a lesser ASCII value, lower ASCII value rather, compared to the letter A, which is 97. Okay, great. The same logic would be applied for descending order as well. So let me just copy it and let's just paste it back once again. In that case, if you see, it's just a reverse of what we are getting to see now. So it was like this. In that case, it was ascending to descending, and now we are descending to ascending. We are getting to see. So again, the same rule comes over here. The highest ASCII value would be R, that came first, and the lowest ASCII value will be capital letter J, that came first. So that's the reason why I inserted J in uppercase, to show this variation of the position of these rows, which is on the ASCII value. Okay, I hope it's clear now. Really, these are very interesting things, and these are very minute things, right? Okay, so now I want to see the first two. Okay, let me just fire one more time, select star from username. Okay, now great. And I want to see not all the record, rather I want to see specific number of record, and for that reason limit comes in. I want to see the first 2 records. Got it? First to record I want to see, so for that reason we came up with the limit, and it is showing the first to record. Okay, now comes something called pagination. So pagination, if I pick it up, and for that reason we are going for offset value, so I hit the enter, and now you see again this offset has been shown. So select star from user, limit is 2, offset is 1. Okay, what about offset is 0? So let me put it over here now. See, the offset is 0 means here are saying this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, in this way it is coming. So you are saying the limit is offset 0, limit is 2 and the offset is 0, means where from it will start, the index value, right? So so if I say in this way that 0, 1, 2, 3, so I would be going with last 2 records. So in that case, offset value would be how much? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it will start with 4. So let me give the offset value as 4, and I hit the enter. So we are seeing the last record. In that way, this can be quite interesting. But in that case, you have to count how many records are there, and then you have to subtract that with -1 to come up with that number. Okay, so that's how we are saying in form of SQL query, and that helps us in the form of offset, and this can be useful for pagination. Okay, because in pagination you're mentioning how many record will be there in each page. In that way you can limit it and where from it start, and that is called offset. Okay, good to go. Fine. So now we will be landing up to something very interesting, and therefrom the story becomes quite interesting. So let me just select star from users, hit the enter. Okay, great. So now we are getting into the group by, and here we are going for the grouping. The thing will become quite challenging as we go with the grouping part. So select, let me copy this and let me put over here, and let's see what it's saying. It's saying select role, and then it has got count star, so it is counting how many rows are there, and I will be going for alias, that is called user. Okay, let me just first, I do not go for alias. Okay, let me show you without alias. So I will be seeing what in that case you will see that from user group by role. Okay, so I want to fire this, and I will see the result of this. So it has got 2 buyers, so there are 2 buyers are there. There is only 1 admin, and there are 3 sellers. So what it has done, it has done a grouping on basis of role. Okay, and it has shown me count, and then has shown me, see, I did not go for alias, so it came with the count heading, and they have shown me and specific count in respect to the role. Now what if I have gone for the alias? So select count from star, and then I would have said as the keyword, and I want to see what will be the name of the heading. So I'm going for total underscore users as the heading. I've kept it, and then I hit the enter. See over here, the initial count heading got replaced by the alias that is called total underscore user, and that's what you are seeing. The result is same, just the alias is the heading part that comes in picture. Okay, now I would like to add one thing over here, that is I have kept over here group by. See, if you look over here, group by is a role. So I have a role, I have a count star. So because count star is there, so it's counting how many specific roles are there. Great. Now suppose if I would have said that I am going with I want to see another attribute over here, like username. Will this work? I say select username, comma role, comma count star as total. Okay, I've gone for alias name. Let me remove the alias name. Let it be like the default one, count. No issue with that. From user group by role. Now I want to see something very interesting, and I hit the enter. Immediately you get an error. This is what I wanted to show you. What it says is, please take a very minute note. It has a problem with this particular attribute called username. Previously, when I fire role and count, there was no issue at all. But when I introduce this particular username, problem starts. What is the problem? It says that the column user.username must appear in group by clause or be used in the aggregate function. This is something very interesting. That means when you are putting an attribute over here, you must include the attribute either in the aggregate function or as a group by. You can't keep this isolated. That means this attribute at this point of time is neither a part of this aggregate function nor a part of the group by, and that's the reason why it is creating a problem. So this is something what you have to be very careful. So if you want to add over here the username, then in that case either you have to go with the count aggregate function or you need to associate that right over here. So let me put it over here, and now I hit the enter, and now you see there is no problem as such. See, it is showing the username Jimmy, Rahul and Poonam. It has come up with you have added the group by, so these three are put together, and individually these are one. Is counting how many sailor is there by the name called Jimmy, it found one. How many sailor is there by Rahul, it found one. How many seller is there by John as a buyer, it's one. In that way it has counted. That's the reason why it did not come up with 2 or 3, because by default there's only one Jimmy, right? There's only one Jimmy who's a seller. We don't have any other Jimmy, and in the similar way we don't have any other Rahul who is also a sailor. We don't have that, right? So we have got only one Jimmy, we have got one Rahul. For that reason it is showing this 1 1, because now it is grouping not just only based on role, but at the same time it is grouping on based on username, and this username basically doesn't repeat, so naturally it will just be 1. Well, I know it doesn't make that much of sense, because you would be saying that since we are not getting the number of count as 2, that is perfectly fine, but at least one thing got very clear. The thing which I wanted to show you, that whenever you put any attribute, when you are having a group by, you need to be careful that that attribute either be part of the count, or else, I mean the aggregate function, or it has to be a part of the group by. So isolated, if you keep it isolated, that is not going to work. So remember this thing, okay? Okay, now let's move to the condition, where we have just written a group by, but group by along with that we can also go for condition, right? So let's put the condition in the next section. So let me clear the screen once again, and now we come up with the having, and select star from role, and let me put over here on, let's see very minutely. So I'm saying that I want to see the role, I want to count as total. So we have gone for again alias heading from the user table, group by role, which was perfectly fine, which we saw that, but I want to see only those role whose value is greater than 1, and we saw that admin was having just exactly 1. So in that case admin will be out, right? So here we have got 2 things. So one was without group by, it was just merely sorry, I wrote over here the same stuff. Let me put it over here like this. Yes, this is the one. Yes. Now see over here, we did not come up with any condition. So in that case, admin was a part of the process. But now we have gone for group by, and on top of that we are doing having. So that means unless and until you don't group the users, you cannot go for a condition. So first you have to group the users, and then you have to apply the condition. If you follow the sequence of action, then the grouping would be first, because once you have grouped them down, like what we have done over here in this particular query, once you have grouped them down, then only you can go for having count greater than something. Okay, so count star greater than something. So instead of writing count star, can I write any attribute over here? Well, that is also fine, but let's continue with count star only, because it's counting how many rows are there. So on basis of that, it will just predict that, okay, now how exactly is it working? So when you are doing a group by, what is basically happening? This is creating one bucket. Consider this to be one bucket, consider this to be another bucket, and consider this to be another bucket. So basically at this point of time you have got 3 individual buckets. So count is now working on this bucket to find how many records are there. So over here we have got 2 records. When we did this, we have got 1 record. When we have got 3 records. So first group by is required. Why? Because we have to create these buckets. On top of those buckets, the count will be working. So if you go by the sequence, first we need to go for a group by. Once a group by has been done successfully, on top of that group by we are applying count. That means each of the buckets it is going to count. So while counting this bucket, it found it is 2, which is greater than 1. Show it got fine, displayed over here. Then I counted this bucket and found that the record value is 1, and then we went for the comparison. No, 1 is not greater than 1, so ignore this. Again it came to the next bucket and show that it's 3, and 3 is greater than 1. Perfectly fine, so include that even. Okay, that's how the group by basically works. Okay, so now we are leading toward the update function, and few more records are over here. Yes, let's complete these few, and then in the next video I will talk about this removal part. Okay, so now we come up the update. So I believe group by is crystal clear with you people, and we also understood that how group by followed by having is going to work, and this is something very interesting. Okay, please check out this particular section of the video number of times so that you are well familiar with how exactly having and group by the works under DESC. Now we are going to another set of query that's called update. So we want to set where update user role admin. Okay, let's check the current user first, then it will be okay. Let's clear the records. Okay, fine, and then select star from user. Yeah, okay. So if you see ID number 1, so let me fire this, update this. So what is ID number 1? ID number 1 is a buyer. Okay, but I want to change the from update user set role admin. So from buyer I want to change it to admin. Okay, let's go and click this and I hit the enter, update one record. So select star. If I do, now you see the John is no longer buyer, it has got transformed into admin, right? But this is not what I want. I want to get back to the same one. So I will write set buyer, that will change this admin again, but it still works, right? So now I want to change the buyer and that is 1, perfectly fine. So here if I go again, you find that it is back to buyer. Okay, so great. And now we come to the delete record. So delete user set role admin where admin is 1. So I believe you understood this command. Delete from the user where ID is 4. Okay, so I just don't want to delete that, but you understood that if you fire this, the particular ID admin will be deleted. Okay, great. Okay, let me show you even that also, like why to lift behind this one. Okay, so I hit the enter now and you will see that it's deleted 1 successfully. So if I come back, you don't find any more the admin record over here is no longer there. Okay, great. So but I would be restoring it back. So what I will be doing is that I will come up over here and I will just fire this command once again. Yes, and here is the admin. So I will select this and I put it over here, and then I will be selecting this section and I will run it over here separately. Yes, great. So we are back with the user record. Yes, now admin is back. Okay, so we saw that how can we delete, and we also saw how do we restore it back. Okay, so latest user. Now this is something very interesting. So I want to see the latest user. So how exactly how exactly it works? So let me just select star from, if we've just put this query and you see yourself, select star order by created ad. The created ad means the timestamp. Describe, so in the ascending to descending order it will come, and the limit is 1. So I want to see the limit, only 1 record. So the last record which I have got updated, that was coming in picture. The reason why? The reason is that because of a timestamp. So it says the select star from user where order by is based on created ad. So created and descending order, the descending order last record, and only 1 record I will be seeing. So that's the reason I have given the 1. Okay, what if the limit was not given? If limit is not given like this way, then what it will be showing? It is showing all, but this is not what I want. I want to see the last record only. So last record that was inserted. That's the reason why. It's because over here you're not putting any kind of constraint over here, no. So you're showing all the records. Get the same, but I want to see the last one. So for that reason, limit is 1, and once I see it will be showing the last one. Great. Okay, so and the oldest user. Okay, and if I want to see the first one, so the ascending order in that case, the very natural, the obvious one. The other way around, you have to say it will be the ascending order. That way it will be kind of, if you see over here, the oldest user was Rahul, and that's the reason why it came this way. Found? Okay, great. Now case sensitive stuff is also coming in picture, so let me clear this thing and let me show you. So case insensitive. Okay, so select star and see this one, select star, and here I'm saying the select star from user where username is I'm ignoring the case. So star JO, I mean percentage JO, percentage, so it can start with any number of characters followed by JO should be there, and we have got John. So at the beginning we don't have any character, no problem, it's none also will be accepted, but at the end you have got HN, and that's the reason why it is working. So if I go with select star one more time, select star one more time, I want to see something came to my mind. Yeah, so now what I want to see is like I will be going with this command, select star from user where username is, well, I will be saying let's target Poonam. Okay, so NA, I'm going for NA, so it has got PU at the beginning and the last alphabet is M. So let's go and see. Yes, Poonam also worked. That's what I said. So when we went for John, JO, at that point of time there was no at the beginning it doesn't start with any character, but it ended with a few letters. And over here we have a starting character, and we also have an ending character, and it works successfully fine. Great. Okay, so that's how ignore the case is also going to work. So you saw that how case sensitive or ASCII value is based on that. Okay, so now you will be going for uppercase, and that's uppercase. So length is also there. So select from length function. Let me just run them in sequence. Yes, length is also there. So what does this length mean? Length means if you see number of characters, Rahul, coincidentally all these majority are 5 characters, and except John, which is a 4 characters. That's how the length is working. Okay, now we will go for, already we have done this one, no? Select count star from user group by order by and total user descending order. Well, fine, we can fire this one more. This is the last combined query, and that we come to an end of 25 queries. So select roll count, as we already discussed that these two attributes should be either the part of aggregate function or the part of the group by, order by which particular column it will be, and in descending order. Okay, so in the descending order it is coming, and that is the first number of order, I mean number of roll is 3 that came first, then came number of buyers, and then came that means which is just 1. So if this was not there, if the order by was not there, so what would have we seen? So we have, if you see like this way, see you are seeing in this fashion. Okay, you are seeing like the buyer came first, then admin, then seller, because order by is not maintained. Again, if I run the code, you will be seeing the same manner. But if I go with order by now, you are seeing the descending to ascending. Okay, and if your changes to ascending, you're changing to ascending, and then you will see just the other way around. Okay, so from 1, then 2, then 3. So that means we are counting, at the same time we are sorting them and basis of the number of users available for that particular given role. Okay, I believe this particular 25 queries were very effective for you all, and it has really, I've explained it as best possible way I can. So just run this video number of time and see how these queries are all up to. I will be sure you will be comfortable. And in the next video I will talk about how to remove the user and its associated stuff. Okay, so stay tuned and keep watching. Take care. Bye bye.